Hi guys, welcome back. Today, it's hard to believe this is Wednesday. Only 2 more days left of school this year after this. Today I'm going to be reading you a story that reminds me a lot of Dillon Valley Elementary School. It's a story called Accordionly. So accordion, like the instrument, and accordingly, they put those together. The author's name is Michael Genhart, and Michael Genhart explains at the end of this book why he writes this book. So he has 2 very different sets of grandparents. Now, his mother's family came from Mexico. So his grandparents on his mother's side came from Mexico, and their culture is the Mexican culture, the food that they eat, the music they listen to, the words that they use. His father's parents came from Switzerland, and you can kind of see them here. And so their culture is from Switzerland. And when these 2 groups of people get together, it's kind of hard to figure out how to get along. They've got a lot of similarities, but they've also got a lot of differences. And when he was growing up, this author, dealt with that, and that led him to write this book. That's what inspired him to write this book. So again, it's called Accordionly. It starts with the musical notes. Accordionly, abuelo and opa make music. Now in Mexico, your grandparent or grandfather would be your abuelo, and in Switzerland, in Germany, and a lot of other places, it's opa. Says, my abuelo plays the accordion in a mariachi band. When they play ranchera music, he hoots and he hollers louder than the rest. It's a fiesta every time he sings, and whenever we visit, my abuela makes tamales and arroz. Looks delicious. My opa plays the accordion in a polka band. So same instrument, very different sound. When they play, he belts out a yodel that makes the windows shake. So if you know what a yodel is, yodel-odele-ee-oo. He's the only person we know who yodels. And whenever we visit, my oma's lebuchen and hot chocolate make us feel right at home. The first time my grandparents were all together, one side of the table was really quiet. My grandpas couldn't speak each other's language, so they didn't say much to one another. They said please and thank you a lot, but not much else. So here you can see that they're outside trying to play in the yard together, but having a hard time really connecting. We spent the day together in silence. We exchanged glances, but not words. We listened to the birds sing, but we didn't make a sound. And you can see by their body language here, they're uncomfortable. They're not really talking, and that's making the little boy sad. My parents noticed the silence too, and they wondered if something was wrong. ¿Qué pasa? Asked Mom. Abuelo simply grumbled. This says, ¿Was est los? Asked Dad. Opa just scrunched his face. I asked Abuelo to get his accordion. Oh, sorry, I skipped a page, guys. The silence made me sad, and that's when I had an idea. He's thinking about how his 2 grandparents are similar. I asked Abuelo to get his accordion, and then I asked Opa to get his accordion. At first, Abuelo and Opa just stared at one another, but then they both broke into laughter. So think about why they're laughing. Maybe they realize they're so different, and yet they're very much the same. Abuelo strapped on his accordion and he started to play La Charieda. Opa and I listened, and Opa watched Abuelo very carefully, and then Opa began playing the Yodel Polka. Abuelo and I listened, and Abuelo watched Opa very carefully, and soon they were playing along and singing together. So 2 different songs, different languages, different kinds of accordions, and they found their connection, and it was music in this case. The blending of yodels and hollers broke the silence. Music filled our house once again. And this is a beautiful book because it opens up all the way here so we can see this fiesta, this party. Watching Abuelo and Opa made my heart sing with happiness with all of my family together in harmony, accordionly. And then at the end again, the author shows pictures of his 2 sets of grandparents and what inspired him to write this story. So I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow.